Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Designing for LEED and Maximizing HVAC System Energy Efficiency. My name is Kim Melton, and I'm going to be your moderator today, and I'll be helping answer questions or go through the questions at the end. Joining me is Jamie Van Mourik, Vice President of Education Systems at the U.S. Green Building Council, and John Elverum, the Senior Technical Service Specialist from Johns Manville. Before we dive too deep in introductions, I do want to go over a few logistics. First, we'll be concluding the session with a live Q&A. And so if you have any questions throughout the presentation, you can actually submit them via the Q&A box on the right side of your screen. Now, if you don't see that box, if you look at the right top corner, there's going to be a little Q&A. If you click that, it'll actually open a dialog box that you can use to submit your questions. Now, we're also frequently asked whether or not we send out these presentations upon their conclusion. And we don't actually send out the presentation itself, but we do post a recording of it online for you to watch at your leisure or share with your colleagues. And this is really to ensure that you get the presentation within its full context. And it's also part of how we deliver the JM experience to you. Now, at Johns Manville, the JM experience is part of our culture, and it's based on 4 pillars: people, passion, perform, and protect. And we offer webinars like this one to help educate the market and offer a tool and a resource for you and your business. Now, we're continuously striving to improve these and evolve these webinars. So if you have any comments or suggestions as to how we can actually better accomplish this, or maybe you'll even feel like we've missed the mark today, we'd strongly encourage you to fill out a survey that's going to come to you at the end of the webinar. And we use this feedback to improve our webinars and provide the information that has the most value to you. So on that note, let's get to introductions. I'll hand it over to Jamie to introduce herself.
Thanks, Kim, and hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here today, and thank you for Johns Manville inviting USGBC to participate in today's presentation. I was trained as an architect, though I never practiced, and I've always, from very early on, been very passionate about education. And so I've been with the U.S. Green Building Council now for over 9 years. Over time, my position has evolved, grown in scope, as many of you have probably experienced that over your career trajectory. And where I am today is helping to lead our education strategy at the organization and helping to provide lifelong learning solutions to all ages across the life spectrum. So that includes young children, post-secondary students, and then, of course, practitioners and professionals like yourself.
At Johns Manville for 11 years, and I provide technical support for a number of the building insulation products, including the HVAC insulation materials. Now I'll turn it back to Jamie.
Thanks, John. So the U.S. Green Building Council is a nonprofit organization committed to transforming the built environment with a vision of sustainable cities and communities for all. We're doing this by changing the way buildings are designed, constructed, and operated. But buildings aren't the only component of the built environment. USGBC's vision for the world touches every aspect of this ecosystem at all scales. The words on this slide describe the future we are working towards. And to help change building practices, we started by creating the transformative tool of LEED, otherwise known as Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And now, after 18 years in the market, we are in a place of transitioning LEED from a suite of rating systems to a comprehensive platform that addresses green buildings, communities, districts, neighborhoods, cities, nations, and ultimately the planet. USGBC has become a global organization since our founding in 1993, and we're adapting our global strategy to regional and local contexts across the world. Simply put, USGBC is in the business of market transformation. However, USGBC doesn't just include staff like myself, but also includes our member organizations, which are close to 12,000 organizations committed to this vision of sustainable communities for all. And it includes our local communities across the U.S., where individuals are engaged in advocacy work, education delivery, and project support, and also includes LEED professionals who are across the globe who are experts in green building practices and earn a professional credential to be able to signify this expertise. Each year we bring our community of stakeholders together to our annual conference, which is Green Build. It is the largest international conference and expo on green building practices in the world. It began here in the United States and has now expanded to Europe, Mexico, India, and China. We are also actively engaging with government at all levels in the U.S. and across the world. So USGBC is best known for the tool we developed for the building industry, LEED. And I find that oftentimes individuals know LEED, but they don't know the organization that created LEED. So LEED, as you'll see here, is the most widely recognized and used green building program across the globe. LEED provides a concise framework for identifying and implementing practical and measurable green building design, construction, operations and maintenance strategies and solutions. LEED has been helping to change the process of building design, bringing everyone to the table early on, which results in fewer delays and cost overruns. This is known as the integrative design process and is fundamental to designing and operating sustainable communities. LEED began with a focus on commercial office spaces and over the past 18 years has expanded to cover different building typologies, the full life cycle of buildings, including design, construction, operations, and maintenance, and different scales from interior spaces to neighborhoods. LEED's expansion has also helped to result in green construction growing in all sectors across the world. And LEED has also expanded outside of the U.S. and is used in countries across the world. We are seeing a lot of activity right now in areas such as India, China, and the Middle East. And for companies and building owners, LEED helps to promote the corporate social responsibility stories and feeds into the metrics captured in company sustainability reporting efforts. And the outcomes of LEED include reduced operating costs, lower employee absenteeism and turnover, higher resale value, less time on the market, faster lease-up rates, and reduced risk. And in numbers, LEED provides savings of 30 to 40% on energy and water, 2 to 10% increase in employee productivity, and 35% in less absenteeism. And studies have shown that LEED buildings are having a positive impact on health and wellness. There was a Harvard study done a few years ago that was titled The Impact of Green Buildings on Cognitive Function, where Harvard researchers came together to have office workers come to a commercial office space building. Now, this building was a LEED certified building, and they asked the office workers to come in over the course of 2 weeks for 4 days each week to conduct their tasks. The researchers were on the level below the office workers. So the office workers were set up in a space which, very similar to the type of environment you would work in. And the researchers were downstairs, and they would essentially change what was being introduced into the air that the office workers were breathing. So they first were mimicking the indoor air quality of a green building, and they would change it to be acting more like the indoor air quality of a conventional building. So they were introducing different levels of CO2 and other volatile organic compounds. Each day, the office workers were evaluated at the end of the day to see what their cognitive ability was through an emergency situation scenario. And the result of the study was that there was a positive correlation between indoor air quality and cognitive function. And so they did find that in this particular study, the better the indoor air quality, the better the productivity of the workers. And now Harvard is starting to look at other space types, such as K-12 schools, to run similar studies like this one. So LEED also provides third-party verification that helps to maintain accountability and to provide for transparency. So we're not just walking the talk. We're not just talking the talk, but we're also walking the talk and essentially not greenwashing our spaces. LEED's foundational structure is what we refer to as the system goals. These are the underpinning of LEED and the reason why LEED exists. So you'll see here, our number one goal is to reduce contribution to global climate change, enhance individual human health, protect and restore water resources, protect and enhance biodiversity and ecosystem services, promote sustainable and regenerative material cycles, build a green economy, and enhance community quality of life. This is the reason why LEED exists. And the system goals get translated into practice through 6 environmental credit categories, which contains prerequisites that are required of all LEED projects and credits which are optional, and they are chosen by the project teams dependent on the building space type, the location, and the goals for that project. So these credits provide the strategies and the technical requirements so that, again, we can realize these system goals in our projects and our buildings. So now we're going to talk about LEED in practice, and John is going to speak about a specific topic within the materials category of LEED, where we are working to transform the market, and that's in material transparency.
Thank you, Jamie. One of the tools that Johns Manville works with regarding LEED reporting and such are EPDs, Environmental Product Declarations, and these are third-party evaluations in a standard format for a company's specified product or product group. The evaluation reviews the environmental impact of the products from the beginning stages of its manufacturing, transportation, installation, service, and end-of-life expectations. EPDs can provide documentation for a partial or a full LEED version 4 credit for certification as part of the material resource category. When preparing the EPD, third-party organizations such as Underwriters Laboratories Environmental, ULE, they assess the environmental impact of raw material acquisition for the specific product, energy demand for the various stages of manufacturing, installation, and expected service life of the products, such as fiberglass duct insulation products that Johns Manville manufactures. The service life of these type of insulation products have the same expectation as that given for the building that they are installed in, which is 60 years. And EPDs can be used to evaluate a product's anticipated energy demand, water consumption, and anticipated service life. The EPD provides written disclosure of various environmental impacts the product has, which may include reduction in global warming potential. Since EPDs are in the same general format, the product information can be used to review the life cycle assessment, anticipated product performance, product health and safety, and provide insight into the application guidelines for the product. For interested parties, there are links to EPD documents that can be found on ULE's SPOT database and on JM's website at the source. And Kim will speak about that later in the presentation. And now I'll turn it back over to Jamie for a further discussion about sustainable cities.
So stepping back from the details of LEED, as I mentioned previously, we are now at a point where LEED is becoming more than just a suite of rating systems, but rather a platform for tackling sustainability at all scales. So USGBC has a vision that buildings and communities will regenerate and sustain the health and vitality of all life within a generation. And in support of this, USGBC's strategic plan has a goal for cultivating sustainable cities and communities. And to realize this vision and achieve our goals for cities, USGBC has developed the LEED for Cities program. So this program aims to improve the health and well-being of cities and communities and each person in those communities. And it is a brand new program that we are working with cities across the globe to test be able to learn from them so that we can enhance that program to help them further track their metrics across a variety of performance areas. And our partner in this important work of market transformation is the Green Business Certification, Inc., or commonly known as GBCI, who is helping to accelerate the speed to market transformation by providing the necessary third-party verification services for the entire LEED platform, in addition to other new rating systems that address different aspects of the built environment. Together, USGBC and GBCR are creating this unstoppable momentum in the marketplace, covering nearly every sector of the sustainability industry. And we are now leveraging technology to help us leapfrog ahead. In December of 2016, GBCI founded the technology organization ARC Scoreroo, which hosts the ARC platform that tracks ongoing performance at all scales. So this single platform can track performance for all buildings, communities, and cities, and include all rating systems, both LEED and other new rating systems for the built environment, standards and protocols, and then ultimately show all of the different certifications that you can earn for the various areas within the built environment. The vision of ARC is to connect all of these actions that we take within the built environment and then have those actions correspond to better performing and more sustainable buildings and infrastructure. The goals for ARC is to benchmark and monitor ongoing performance of existing facilities by providing a live building performance score, a tool for earning LEED certification and in the future other certifications, and then a way to conduct global benchmarking. So John is going to talk about the specific strategies for energy efficiency that will improve the performance of the buildings that you're designing, constructing, and operating.
Thank you, Jamie. Regarding energy efficiency as far as a LEED parameter, we're looking at HVAC systems. And to start with, the equipment should be properly sized and thermally efficient as related to applicable energy codes. Most recently, this includes the 2018 International Energy Conservation Code. ASHRAE has a book of fundamentals that provides a reference source for computation procedure for sizing duct systems. For, say, air conditioners, they're manufactured and labeled with a SEER rating, a seasonal energy efficiency ratio, that provides a rating, usually from 13 to 21, that is the ratio of the cooling output of the equipment divided by the energy consumed. The higher the SEER rating, the greater the energy efficiency. And of course, the HVAC system, the skeleton within the building, should be properly sealed to prevent air leakage so that you're not losing your conditioned air to unoccupied spaces. The insulation itself needs to be properly selected for the application. It needs to be sufficiently thick for thermal efficiency and meet code requirements versus economics of the system. And it also needs to be properly sealed with approved vapor retarder tape or mastic when necessary for given conditions. One of the shortfalls or pitfalls that can hamper an HVAC system's thermal efficiency is using insufficient insulation thickness. And the photo to the right shows a space constraint. I took a call this morning that involves this sort of thing. If there's not enough room for the insulation, the system probably won't perform properly. There's other situations where insulation thickness might not be sufficient, such as selecting insulation for minimums for thermal resistance, like an R4, R6, or an R8, but it might not be sufficient for conditions that dictate thicker insulation. For example, under certain conditions, thicker duct insulation is required to prevent condensation on insulated ducts under certain conditions, or there might be times when insulation should be thicker for improved thermal efficiency based on prolonged winter or summer conditions. For a system that requires a low-perm vapor retarder facing to help prevent condensation, the vapor retarder needs to be properly sealed with a vapor retarder tape or mastic. Depending on the conditions, if the moisture vapor in the air bypasses the vapor retarder and contacts the cold insulation and the metal surfaces, condensation can form. If this occurs, there's a loss of thermal efficiency, there's the potential for mold to grow, an obnoxious odor may develop, and there may be damage to the surrounding surfaces or the insulation itself. To ensure that the insulated HVAC system is running efficiently, the duct insulation can be cleaned and the equipment inspected and monitored routinely. The HVAC system can be monitored for unusual dustiness, moisture, or noise. Empirically, the occupants within the building may indicate that the occupied rooms are comfortable or too hot or too cold, or they may notice when the system is running for too long a period of time or at a time when it is not needed. If this occurs, then there might be a question of whether or not the thermostat is properly set. Another metric for measuring efficiency is monthly utility bills. If there's a spike or a wide variation, that might be indicative that the system is not running effectively. This slide provides some information about energy loss and energy cost. Going left to right from the columns, the column on the left is of an uninsulated, unsealed duct system. The next column is a sealed system, but it's uninsulated, it's just bare metal. The next one has lining to the interior. The next column is for a system where it has wrapped insulation. And the column to the right is fiberglass ductboard, which has replaced the sheet metal skeleton. And values for energy loss and cost of energy are listed in the middle rows going across. So different systems can provide different efficiencies based on their performance properties. This slide shows recent energy code developments for HVAC systems that require an increase to R12 duct insulation in climate zones 5 through 8. As you can see from the map, these climate zones account for some of the more populated cities in the upper half of the United States. These cities are located in Colorado, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. This means that for current duct wrap, duct liner, and fiberglass ductboard products, they either have to be made thicker or double layered to achieve an R12 thermal resistance value. Other options for achieving an R12 thermal resistance value include 2-inch expect polyisofoam from Johns Manville for certain rooftop HVAC ductwork applications when allowed. And then there's also 3-inch 814 series spin glass and microflex wrap products. There are some duct liner products on the horizon also. Now at this point in time, Jamie will continue our webinar presentation.
So, as you've heard today, the landscape is changing in terms of new products and strategies to increase the performance of our buildings and to help us create more sustainable spaces. For USGBC to really push the needle on market transformation, we know that education will be key. Lifelong learning is becoming a common phrase in response to the rapidly changing world we live in and the shifts in industries due to technology. Our understanding of the world and connections gets larger over the course of our lives, as shown here in this graphic. And because of this, USGBC needs to understand where our stakeholders and community members are in their life journey and provide the right education solutions to fit the stage of life. It's also critical for us to not just help to educate the current professionals in the field, but also to develop the pipeline of future professionals. Ultimately, we need to prepare individuals for a future that looks very different than the present. So USGBC has two methods for the delivery of education, online and in person. For online education, our learning platform is Education at USGBC, which is a subscription-based platform which offers education content for a diverse audience. For those who are LEED professional credential holders, the platform allows you to meet your continuing education requirements. The platform includes videos, podcasts, articles, white papered, and really a diverse array of the type of content in all shapes and sizes to meet the different learning styles. And to help make finding what you need easier, we have started to curate content in the form of playlists. So the first ones that you see on the left for CMP or Credential Maintenance Program are for the specific LEED credentials, and then also the new Sites Accredited Professional and the Well Accredited Professional. We also have playlists for specific professional audiences, such as contractors and builders, and for facilities professionals. In addition to the playlist, we've also launched a new way to get recognized for expertise in a specific topic called knowledge-based badges, and currently have two in energy efficiency and indoor air quality. And these digital badges are just another way to get recognized for the expertise that you have within topics that dive more deep than perhaps a general credential would. And for in-person education, our USGBC faculty serve as our delivery channel. So if your company has a need for in-person training on LEED or education on specific topics, please do let us know and we can connect you with local faculty. Or if you are interested in becoming USGBC faculty, we are always looking for expert facilitators and individuals who are incredibly knowledgeable about green building practices to join this growing network. And you can find the comprehensive list of our education solutions that we provide at this landing page, usgbc.org/education. Now I'll turn it over to Kim, who's going to talk about resources specific for your projects.
Thank you very much, Jamie. So just so you know, everything I'm about to talk about right now, as well as the link that Jamie just mentioned, we will be sending all of this out in an email here at the end of the presentation. But I wanted to introduce you to something we've developed recently called The Source. Now, this is an online portal where we house all of our educational content. So I'll start by going through our webinars. Now, the webinars, like this one today, we host, we record them, and then we post them online. And this is to really make sure that you get the webinar within its full context. And so, you know, I know we had a lot of slides with just pictures on them. Well, now you get the full recording of what we actually had to say about those pictures. The second thing we have on The Source is a specifications tab. Now, this tab is specifically designed for engineers who are looking to specify JM products. And what it allows you to do is a side-by-side comparison of each of our products in terms of performance characteristics, whether it's thermal performance or acoustical performance. And you can even come to this page if you're looking for EPDs. It will let you know if we have an EPD for that product specifically. Now, we also have a blog, and this is something we update regularly. We have our in-house staff. We've got a lot of technical expertise pretty deep here at Johns Manville. So we have our in-house staff that write blogs, and these are educational blogs. They're not designed to be product promotions or anything like that. They're designed to help you in your decision-making process as you're selecting products. Now, we don't just post our own blogs. We actually curate content, just like USGBC does, to make sure that our content is well-rounded and not just giving you the single perspective that you're going to get from Johns Manville, but from other experts throughout the industry. Now, we also offer tools. And our tools on this site, we have an HVAC product selector guide. This is going to allow you to go through and just get a high-level detail of our products. So as you're starting in this journey and you're looking for products that you need, this guide is actually going to help you dive into the top-level details that you need before you can really start making your decisions. Now, we also have a tool called the Smart Binder. And what the Smart Binder does is it allows you to plug in the specifications for your application, and then it gives you the numbers you need or the insulation thickness you need specific for Johns Manville insulation. So if you know you want to specify, let's say, JM duct liner, I'm sorry, I'm giving you the wrong tool. That's the JM 3E Plus tool. So speaking of the 3E Plus tool, if you know you want to specify JM duct liner, this will allow you to just plug in the information, and it gives you the numbers you need specifically for Johns Manville. Now, back to SmartBinder. This is a really cool app you can put on your phone. And what this app does is it gives you immediate access to all of our technical documentation. So if you're on a job site and you're looking for an SDS, this is a great way. You can pull it right up. It's very easy to use. And then finally, just like USGBC, we also offer in-person training and presentations. So if you're looking for specific details about something, we have trained professionals who can come out to your site and they can show you how to fabricate ductboard, or they can show you how the safety of fiberglass and the amount of research that's been done around that sort of thing. Now, along the lines of training, further training, if you're looking to do something individual or in-house, we do have online training modules, and these cover everything from the basics of Insulation 101 to, like I said, the proven safety of fiberglass, to how to install and fabricate our duct installations. And this applies to both mechanical and HVAC. So if we have a broad spectrum of products there. So if you're looking for information on those products, this is a great stepping stone for you to use to educate yourself. So on that note, anybody who attended today will get a certificate of completion. We'll send this out to your email by Friday, and this is what you can use to submit for professional development hours. And with that, let's go ahead and get into Q&A. For those of you who weren't here at the beginning, there is a Q&A box on the right side of your screen. So the first question we have is for Jamie. And Jamie, you mentioned USGBC faculty and for the experts who are professionals there. How do people become part of the USGBC faculty?
Well, the first step is to visit our website, which is usgbc.org/education. And within that list, you'll see that we call out in-person education. And the USGBC faculty link is directly there. So you can go to the USGBC faculty page, and there is an application that you would complete. We basically just ask for your green building education experience and also any credentials that you have, your degree programs, your project experience. So you submit that application, and then my colleague who helps to oversee and lead that program will get in contact with you. And she usually, if she has any questions, she'll go ahead and schedule a call, get to know who you are, and from there, hopefully, you're approved. There is a fee to be part of faculty. It's $500, and that gets you access to toolkits and training, staff support, and the toolkits that we have available are on specific topics about the LEED certification program, the different rating systems, and those courses that USGBC faculty deliver are approved for the GBCI continuing education requirements for LEED professional credential holders. So basically my team is helping to resource the faculty so that they can go out into the market, they can offer these trainings in person. As faculty, we're helping to do some matchmaking, but you also have the ability to go out and to offer education on your own as a professional, again, with USGBC faculty, and then any payment would go directly towards you, so we don't actually get involved in any of the logistics about that.
All right, excellent. This next one is for you, John, and it pertains to the latest code on R12, and that is 3-inch duct insulation currently available?
It should be available pretty soon, say for duct wrap or for duct liner. I know manufacturers like Johns Manville had to do some work to make sure it was feasible and then bring it to market, so soon.
All right. And if we don't have 3-inch liner, then they need to double up layers, correct?
Correct. That would be the other option.
Okay, great. Jamie, the next question is for you, and that is, what is the best way for me to get started with USGBC education?
So the best place to start is the landing page that I mentioned. We have a course called Green Buildings for Everyone that we offer on our online learning platform. It is free to access. So you would first go ahead, if you don't already have a user account with USGBC, which is free to create, you just email, come up with your password like many of these websites now ask for. So you create a user account, and then you can get access to that Green Buildings for Everyone course. I would also encourage you to find out if your organization or company is a member of USGBC. You can also go ahead and contact us at education@USGBC, and we can verify whether or not your company is a member. We have 4 levels of membership, and 3 of the 4 come with hours of access to that online learning platform. So employees of companies can access. The 4th level of membership, which is our lowest level, offers discounts on individual subscriptions to that platform. But all of our members do have another course that's freely available to them called USGBC Green Building Basics and LEED. But again, if you have specific topics that you're looking for, if you want to talk to one of the team members here to provide you with what's available, we're always happy to schedule a call and to provide you with direction.
Excellent. Thank you. The next one actually is coming right back at you, Jamie, and that is, how can I learn more about the LEED credits?
So you would visit the usgbc.org website, and then from the home page, you can navigate to LEED. So it's one of the top filters, and there's a whole page that talks about LEED. The current version of LEED is version 4, and within that, you can select which of the rating systems you're interested in. So for example, if you're working on a design and construction project, maybe it's a Class A office space, it would fall under building design and construction, and you can go ahead and navigate to the information about that particular page. You can also search for the LEED credit library. So this can be simply done through Google search, so you don't have to necessarily navigate through the usgbc.org site. But the LEED credit library allows you to look at all of the prerequisites and credits for each of the different rating systems so that you can understand what the intent of each of the credits are and what the requirements of those credits are. So that's always really the best place to start when you're trying to get a better sense of what's involved in pursuing a LEED certification for a particular space type.
All right, John, the next one is for you, and that is, are companies required to make EPDs available?
No, I don't believe so. It depends on the discretion of the company and the products they offer and the projects that those products will be installed in. And for a company like Johns Manville that manufactures thousands of products, we can't do an EPD for every type of product.
All right, excellent. Jamie, this next one is for you, and that is, how often does LEED undergo a new version?
So we're not on a regular schedule like other protocols are, such as the ASHRAE standards, which are updated every 3 years. But we are usually making some technical improvements about every, I would say, 3 to 5 years. So the process that we go through is a very open and transparent process. It starts with our staff working with volunteers that are part of our technical advisory groups. And those technical advisory groups are they're separated by, or they represent each of the environmental credit categories within LEED. So for example, we have a technical advisory group for our sustainable sites credit category. And those individuals, when we're ready to go through making some upgrades to LEED, those individuals would be the one who look at the data points. They look at what credits have been achieved, how many credits have been attempted, what the market feedback has been, which staff is constantly collecting. They're also looking at new innovations in the marketplace. LEED references a lot of other standards out there, such as many of the ASHRAE standards. So if ASHRAE is getting updated and LEED is referencing an older ASHRAE standard. That's something that they're also going to address. So it's the technical advisory groups that go ahead and they make the first series of recommendations. It then feeds up to the LEED steering committee, and the LEED steering committee will go ahead and approve what changes we want to be made within the LEED system. It'll then go out to public ballot, so anybody, anywhere, can provide feedback on these changes. And then we respond to all comments as part of the public ballot process, or I should say the public comment process. And then once that is complete, and again, additional upgrades are made, then we go out to member ballot. So any organization that's a member of USGBC has the ability to vote on the next version of the rating system. Now, I say all that, but in 2018, we're introducing a new process for updating LEED, and that's by introducing shorter releases. So taking a page out of the MacBook of iPhone upgrades, we just went live with LEED version 4.1, and the idea for 4.1 is that prior to getting to the public comment period, we actually want to test some of the changes that the tags are suggesting with real projects. So for version 4.1, we currently have in beta our operations and maintenance rating system. So we are calling all projects to be part of that beta to test out some of the changes. Now these aren't overhaul changes of the LEED system, of the version 4 system, but they're just smaller incremental changes. So we're starting with operations and maintenance. The tags are working on our residential program right now, and they will then move to building design and construction, interior design and construction, and neighborhood development. We're also introducing a call for proposals from the market. So we know LEED version 4, if you have worked with the LEED system, if you're familiar with the previous version, which was 2009, also known as version 3, there were quite a bit of changes for version 4. The materials credit category changed quite a bit. It started to push for material transparency, asking project teams to request EPDs from manufacturers. And so some of the changes that were made, we've been getting a lot of feedback. Some of them are a bit challenging for the market. And so this call for proposals allows us to solicit some ideas on, again, how we can continue to iterate on LEED, pushing us forward, because that's the goal of LEED, but making sure that we don't lose everybody. And so this 4.1 process is becoming much, much more participatory because we are going to have these beta projects happening, and then from the learnings of the beta projects, then it'll help to inform the changes that go into that public comment period and then the member ballot.
Excellent. This is just a personal follow-up question to that. How does one get involved in the beta projects?
So if you go to our website, the one thing that comes up right when you go to usgbc.org, very central, is LEED version 4.1 is here, and you can click on Learn More, and you'll go directly to the 4.1 page. And if you're interested in becoming part of the beta, you can go ahead and join the beta from that page.
Excellent. This next one may need to go on as an offline question, but we're going to ask it anyway, and it's also for you, Jamie. And that is, we have a student in Canada, and he's curious if he can get a discount on the LEED AP-DC exam.
So students are eligible to receive a discount on the LEED Green Associate exam. So there's a special student price for that. For the LEED professional LEED accredited professional exams, which there's 5 different exams, there is not a student price point. It is a professional exam, and therefore GBCI at this point in time has not released a student price point. However, students that are involved in an experiential learning course called LEED Lab do have access to a special discount. Now, that is a course that needs to be offered by your university, and it's a partnership between USGBC and the university to have students work on a real LEED project that's focused on upgrading the operations and maintenance practices of the building. So that's something, if you're looking to take the LEED AP exam sooner rather than later, we don't currently, again, have a price point for students. If you're looking for potentially having an experiential learning opportunity at your school, I'd be happy to talk about that particular option.
Excellent. So that wraps up our questions. For the asker of that last question, if you want to reach out to us via the survey we'll send out following up, we can have somebody follow up with you directly if you'd like to. So as I mentioned, the survey is gonna follow the webinar, and if you want to take a little time to offer your feedback, that would be excellent. If you have any questions you weren't able to ask here, or that maybe you think of them after we wrap up the webinar, then by all means feel free to submit those via the survey, and we will also respond to you directly via email. Please keep an eye on your inbox for your certificate of completion. Again, that's going to go out to you by Friday. And the webinar recording will be posted to the source in the next couple of days. We'll send you a link to that when it's live. We'll also send you a link to all the resources that Jamie mentioned today, as well as the ones that we've mentioned, so that you have complete access to that in a single email. So if you feel like any of this might be relevant to a colleague, you can certainly go back and watch the webinar again, or click on the sources, or forward it to anyone who you think might find it helpful. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you attending today. We hope you found the information useful and relevant, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We would be happy to have any dialogue with you that you feel like you need support on. So take care and enjoy the rest of your week.